Albania, Parthian, Ardhan, Middle Persian, Arran, Georgian, Rani, usually referred to as Caucasian Albania for disambiguation with the modern state of Albania, is a name for the historical region of the Eastern Caucasus that existed on the territory of present-day Republic of Azerbaijan and partially southern Dagestan. Around the 1st centuries BC in AD, the land south of the Greater Caucasus and north of the Lesser Caucasus was divided between Kolchis in the west, Caucasian Iberia in the center and Caucasian Albania in the east. To the southwest was Armenia and to the southeast Atropatene. After the rise of the Parthian Empire, the kings of Caucasian Albania were replaced with an Arsacid family and would later be succeeded by another, Iranian royal family in the 5th century AD, the Mihranids. Names: the Parthian name was Ardhan. The Arabic was Arran. The name of the country in the language of the native population, the Caucasian Albanians, is not known. Agurak is the Armenian and the most historically referenced name for Caucasian Albania. Armenian authors mention that the name derived from the word alu, meaning amiable in Armenian. The term Agurak is polysemous and is also used in Armenian sources to denote the region between the Kur and Araxes rivers as part of Armenia. In the latter case it is sometimes used in the form Armenian Aguak or Hey Aguak. The Armenian historian of the region, Moses Kagan-Kathvatsi, who left the only more or less complete historical account about the region, explains the name Agvank as a derivation from the word Alu, which, he said, was the nickname of Caucasian Albania's first governor Arran and referred to his lenient personality. Moses Kagan-Kathvatsi and other ancient sources explain Arran or Arhan as the name of the legendary founder of Caucasian Albania, or even of the Iranian tribe known as Alans, who in some versions was a son of Noah's son Yaffe. James Darmestita, translator of the Avesta, compared Arran with Ariana Varego, which he also considered to have been in the Araxes Ararat region, although modern theories tend to place this in the east of Iran. Geography. In pre-Islamic times, Caucasian Albania, Arran, was a wider concept than that of post-Islamic Arran. Ancient Arran covered all eastern Transcaucasia, which included most of the territory of modern-day Azerbaijan Republic and part of the territory of Dagestan. However, in post-Islamic times the geographic notion of Arran reduced to the territory between the rivers of Kura and Arax. Ancient Caucasian Albania lay on the southeastern part of the Greater Caucasus Mountains. It was bounded by Caucasian Iberia to the west, by Sarmatia to the north, by the Caspian Sea to the east, and by the provinces of Artsakh and Utik in Armenia to the west along the river Kura. These boundaries, though, were probably never static. At times the territory of Caucasian Albania included land to the west of the river Kura. Albania, or Arran in Islamic times, was a triangle of land, lowland in the east and mountainous in the west, formed by the junction of the Kura and Aras rivers, Mil Plain and parts of the Mogan Plain, and in the pre-Islamic times, corresponded roughly to the territory of modern-day Republic of Azerbaijan. The districts of Albania were, the kingdom's capital during antiquity was Kabala. Classical sources are unanimous in making the Kura River the frontier between Armenia and Albania after the conquest of the territories on the right bank of Kura by Armenians in the 2nd century BC. The original territory of Albania was approximately 23,000 square kilometers. After 387 AD, the territory of Caucasian Albania, sometimes referred to by scholars as Greater Albania, grew to about 45,000 square kilometers. In the 5th century, the capital was transferred to Partiv in Utik, reported to have been built in the mid-5th century by the king Vash II of Albania, but according to M. L. Chaumont, it existed earlier as an Armenian city. In a medieval chronicle, Ajab Dunya, written in the 13th century by an unknown author, Arran is said to have been 30 farsakhs in width, and 40 farsakhs in length. All the right bank of the Kura River until it joined with the Aras was attributed to Arran. The boundaries of Arran have shifted throughout history, sometimes encompassing the entire territory of the present-day Republic of Azerbaijan, and at other times only parts of the South Caucasus. In some instances, Arran was a part of Armenia. Medieval Islamic geographers gave descriptions of Arran in general, and of its towns, which included Barda, Beylagan, and Ganja, along with others. Ethnogenesis. Originally, at least some of the Caucasian Albanians probably spoke Lesgic languages close to those found in modern Dagestan. Overall, though, as many as 26 different languages may have been spoken in Caucasian Albania. After the Caucasian Albanians were Christianized in the 4th century, parts of the population was assimilated by the Armenians and Georgians, while the eastern parts of Caucasian Albania were Islamized and absorbed by Iranian and subsequently Turkish peoples. Small remnants of this group continue to exist independently, and are known as the Udi people. The pre-Islamic population of Caucasian Albania might have played a role in the ethnogenesis of a number of modern ethnicities, including the Azerbaijanis, the Armenians of the Nagorno-Karabakh, the Georgians of Caucasia, the Laks, the Lezgins and the Sakhas of Dagestan. Alphabet and languages. Caucasian Albanian language. According to Armenian medieval historians Movses Korenatsi, Movses Kaigan Kathvatsi and Koruan, the Caucasian Albanian alphabet was created by Mesrob Mashtots, the Armenian monk, theologian and translator who was also credited with creating the Armenian. This alphabet was used to write down the Udi language, which was probably the main language of the Caucasian Albanians. Koruan, a pupil of Mesrob Mashtots, in his book The Life of Mashtots, wrote about how his tutor created the alphabet. Then there came and visited them an elderly man, an Albanian named Benjamin, and he inquired and examined the barbaric diction of the Albanian language, and then through his usual God-given keenness of mind invented an alphabet which he, through the grace of Christ, successfully organized and put in order. A Caucasian Albanian alphabet of 52 letters bearing resemblance to Georgian, Ethiopian and Armenian characters, survived through a few inscriptions, and an Armenian manuscript dating from the 15th century. This manuscript, Matenadaran number 7117, first published by Ilya Abiladze in 1937, is a language manual, presenting different alphabets for comparison: Armenian alphabet, Greek, Latin, Syriac, Georgian, Coptic, and Caucasian Albanian among them. The alphabet was titled Al-Wanikan-e. In 1996, Zaza Alexidze of the Georgian Center of Manuscripts discovered at St. Catherine's Monastery at Mount Sinai, Egypt, a text written on parchment that had been reused in a Georgian palimpsest. In 2001, Alexidze identified its script as Caucasian Albanian, and the text is an early lectionary dating to perhaps before the 6th century. Many of the letters discovered in it were not in the Albanian alphabet listed in the 15th century Armenian manuscript. Muslim geographers Al-Muqaddasi, Ibn Hawqal and Estakri recorded that a language which they called Iranian was still spoken in the capital Barda and the rest of Arran in the 10th century. Iranian languages. Iranian contact in the region goes back to the Median and Achaemenid times. During this Arsacid dynasty of Caucasian Albania, the Parthian language spread in the region. It is possible that the language and literature for administration and record-keeping of the Imperial Chancellery for External Affairs naturally became Parthian, based on the Aramaic alphabet. According to Tumanov, the predominance of Hellenism, as under the Artaxiads, was now followed by a predominance of Iranianism, and, symptomatically, instead of Greek, as before, Parthian became the language of the educated. With the establishment of the Sassanids, Middle Persian, a closely related language to Parthian, became an official language of the Sassanid Empire. At this time, Persian enjoyed even more success than the Caucasian Albanian language, and the region was greatly affected by Arran. According to Vladimir Minorsky, the presence of Iranian settlers in Transcaucasia, and especially in the proximity of the passes, must have played an important role in absorbing and pushing back the aboriginal inhabitants. Such names as Shavan, Lazan, Beylikan, etc., suggest that the Iranian immigration proceeded chiefly from Gilan and other regions on the southern coast of the Caspian. The presence of the Persian language and Iranian culture continued after the Islamic era. Religion. The original population of the Caucasus followed different pagan religions. Under Achaemenid, Parthian and especially Sassanid influence, Zoroastrianism also grew in the region. Christianity started to spread in the late 4th century in the Sassanid era. The Arab conquest and the Chalcedonian crisis led to severe disintegration of the Church of Caucasian Albania. Starting from the 8th century, much of the local population converted to Islam. By the 11th century there already were conciliar mosques in Partor, Kabala and Shaki, the cities that were the creed of Caucasian Albanian Christianity. These Islamized groups would later be known as Lezgins and Sakhars, a mix with the Turkic and Iranian population to form present-day Azeris, whereas those that remained Christian were gradually absorbed by Armenians and continued to exist on their own and be known as the Udi people. The Caucasian Albanian tribes of Hureti were converted to Eastern Orthodoxy by Dinar, Queen of Hureti, in the 10th century. The religious affairs of this small principality were now officially administered by the Georgian Orthodox Church. In 1010, Hureti became absorbed into the neighboring Georgian kingdom of Kakheti. Eventually, in the early 12th century, these lands became part of the Georgian kingdom under David the Builder, finalizing the process of the Georgianization.